Okay, all right. So let us continue our discussion on estimation of these unknown population parameters. If you remember from our previous lecture, we had derived the result or derived the solution for B, and we wrote that solution as x transpose x B must be equal to x transpose y, right? Now, if you replace this y by the sample regression line, this can be written as x transpose xb plus e, और यहाँ पे आपके लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में x ट्रांसपोज xb है। यहाँ से आप इसको जब मल्टीप्लाई कीजिएगा तो इट विल बिकम x ट्रांसपोज xb plus x ट्रांसपोज e, और आई कैन राइट इट एज x ट्रांसपोज e as x transpose xb minus x transpose xb, that will be equal to 0. This is a very important result. Now, what does it convey here? If you notice the element that are in X transpose, X is nothing but your data matrix, right? And the data matrix by default contain the first column of the data matrix contain the column of ones. So if you multiply X transpose with E, for the sake of simplicity, for the sake of illustration purpose, let us say that I have only taken one explanatory variable and I have collected n number of observations on that explanatory variable. So X transpose can be written as 1, 1, 1, the column of ones that will get transposed into row of ones. First observation on X, second observation on X, so on till nth observation on X, right? So this is my X transpose. E is a column vector consisting of n number of observations on residuals. So E will be written as E1, E2, so on till En. Now X transpose E, the first element of this product, if you notice, will be first row multiplied by first column. So E1 times 1 plus E2 times 1 plus E3 times 1, so on till En times 1 will give me summation of Ei, where I goes from 1 to n as 0. That is sum of residuals of the sample regression line that we have found out is 0. Now it has got two implications. Let us understand them one by one. So summation Ei going to 0, it also means that the average value or the mean value of the residuals is 0. So I can write mean value of residual as E bar can be written as y bar minus of b1 minus of b2 x2 bar, if I have taken k number of explanatory variables, minus of b3 x3 bar, so on till minus of bk xk bar, right? So this is one equation that we get. Now what does it mean? It means the residuals have a mean value of 0 and the sample regression line or plane passes through the mean in the k dimension or mean of all such sample points in the k dimensional space. ये बहुत ही important algebraic point है OLS का, that your sample regression line or sample regression plane passes through the mean of sample observations in those dimensional space. So here I have k number of explanatory variables. So what does it mean is that average value of residuals is 0. And also it means that the sample regression plane passes through the mean of these observations in the k dimensional space. So always remember, this is a very important result. Or in this example, if you see the second term, what it will convey is E1 times x1 plus E2 times x2 plus E3 times x3, so on till En times xn. So I write it as summation Ei x, just for the sake of it, I is equal to 1 to n is 0. What does it mean is that correlation of the residual term with the regressor is 0. So if I have k number of such explanatory variables, what does it convey? That each of the explanatory variables has got 0 sample correlation with the residual term. So let me write this in shorthand notation as that this also implies that summation xit or et going to 0 for I starts from 2 till k, because I is equal to 1 is for this term. So it implies these two things, that mean of residual term is 0 and there is zero sample correlation between the regressor and the sample residuals. This is a very important point that will be used in today's lecture. So इस पॉइंट पे फोकस कीजिएगा कि मीन ऑफ रेसिडुअल जीरो है, सैंपल रिग्रेशन प्लेन पास करता है मीन ऑफ द ऑब्जर्वेशंस इन दोज डायमेंशंस and the covariance of each of the regressor with the residual term in the sample is also zero. Now this X transpose E going to zero has another result following from it is that your predicted value of Y conditioned on X, that is your beta naught plus beta 1 times x1 plus beta 2 times x2 so on till beta k times xk, that is a predicted value of Y. Why it is called? Because that is a conditional average value of Y given the x's or given the data matrix that we have. So we write that in statistical notation as hat, that is an estimator. So this leads to a following result which says that the vector of regression values for Y, that is your Y hat term, that is your linear combination part term. So let me write it here as so the vector of regression values for Y is uncorrelated with the residuals. Now why I am able to say this is, why I am able to say like this? So uncorrelated means if I can show that the correlation or covariance between the Y hat and E is zero, that will prove this. So let me write as Y hat transpose E. So Y hat value is XB transpose times E will be equal to B transpose X transpose times E. And we have just derived that X transpose E is equal to 0. So this also means that Y hat transpose E also equals 0. So this also shows that there is zero correlation between the residual term and the fitted values of Y given the data matrix. That is also called as vector of regression values for Y. This Y hat is nothing but your linear combination part. So what it says is that the linear combination of Y, the linear combination of all those explanatory vectors and the residual term, they are perfectly orthogonal to each other. And if you remember in our last discussion, what we had talked about is intuitively क्या होता है OLS method of estimation. If I take this as my x1, this x-axis, if I take that as my y or x2, so इनका linear combination will be any point on the floor. So OLS estimation क्या बोलता है कि मुझे उस particular values of B1 and B2 पे पहुंचना है जिसके linear combination से I can be exactly at the minimum distance from the actual Y. So this point which lies in the column space of x1 and x2 is nothing but your vector of regression values for Y. That is also average value of Y. So average value of Y से actual value of Y के बीच में जो distance है वही मेरा residual part है. So ये जो distance है ये minimum distance है, and we know that the shortest distance between two lines is the perpendicular distance. That's why the equation that we derived for B, they are also called as normal equations. Because what you're talking about is the minimizing the sum of square of the residual term. So this point needs to be remembered that there is zero sample correlation between the expected, that is the average value of Y conditioned on the data matrix, and the residual from the sample is zero, because this underlies what is called as the derivation of R square or decomposition of sum of squares. This is what we discuss next. I'm sure this is clear to you. Please remember these points. They are very, very important points. They are very conceptual points to be understood. Okay. Next we talk about that is called as decomposition of the sum of squares. So in geometric notation, how will it look like if you actually see? So if I just say that this is my y hat, right? This is my actual y. So perpendicular drawn from this will be my e, right? So y can be written as, or y can be decomposed into two parts, and that can be written as y hat plus e. Where y hat, you must understand, is nothing but this term xb plus e. So y can be written as y hat plus e. And why I am able to write this? Because I have a 90-degree angle between y hat vector and the residual vector, right? Okay, ये point समझ लीजिए और आगे बढ़ते हैं. So y can be written as, y can be decomposed into two parts, y hat plus e, right? Next thing, what we have to talk about is the sum of squares. So in our previous lectures, we had noticed that if I have to get the sum of squares, what I do is I take the vector and pre-multiply that vector with its transpose. So what I do is I pre-multiply y with y transpose. So in here I have y hat plus e transpose times y hat plus e. If you break this bracket term, so it will become y hat transpose y hat plus y hat transpose e plus e transpose y hat plus e transpose e. Now अभी हमने एक important result derive किया था that this term, these two terms will be zero because there is zero sample correlation between the fitted values of y and the residual term. So I can easily forget these two terms. So ultimately, the transpose of y transpose y is equal to y hat transpose y hat plus e transpose e. So you must understand that zero covariance between the vector of regression values for y with the residuals leads to this result, right? अब यहाँ पे notice कीजिए y transpose y is nothing but the sum of squares of the actual y values. But our interest does not lie in just finding out the sum of squares of actual y values. Our interest lies in the analysis of the variation in y values. And what is exactly a variation in y values? Variation in y values is nothing but sum of square deviations. So variation in y values, let me write it here. Variation in y values is nothing but summation yi minus y hat ka square. I am sure this can also be written as summation yi square minus of n times y bar ka whole square. If you are familiar with variance formula, you can easily derive it. But अगर आप इसको break करोगे तो ये a minus b का whole square है. So a square plus b square minus 2ab. You have yi square. सबका sum लेना है बाद में. If you break this expression, the final expression that you come with will be this amount. So this is what is exactly the variation in y values. Why I am talking about variation in y values? Because this is nothing but sum of square deviations. Deviations what? Deviation from the mean value, right? So this is the variation in y value. So ultimately we are interested in this term rather than this term. So in order, what we do is we subtract n times y bar square from both sides of the expression, and then we can write it as y transpose y minus of n y hat y mean ka square. Can y transpose y hat transpose y hat can be written as, since my y hat is xb, so y hat transpose क्या हो जाएगा? b transpose x transpose. So b transpose x transpose times xb, so I can write it as minus of n times y bar ka whole square plus e transpose e. So this becomes your total sum of squares this is a familiar residual sum of squares, and this term here is called as explained sum of squares. So your total sum of squares becomes equals to explained sum of squares plus residual sum of squares. I'm sure it is clear to you. Let me repeat it once more. So the zero covariance between the residual values and the vector of regression values of y leads me to this expression where y transpose y is equal to y hat transpose y hat plus E transpose E. This term is actually sum of squared values of y. But our interest does not lie over here. We want to understand the variation in y values around its mean value. So that variation is found out by this term. So what we do is we subtract n times mean of y ka square from both sides of expression. So this term will be called as total sum of squares. This is your familiar residual sum of squares, and this term is called as explained sum of squares. Right? We'll talk about these three terms as we progress ahead in the course. Okay, so I'll erase this for now. So let me write it यहाँ पे y transpose y minus n times mean का square can be written as b transpose x b minus of n times mean का square plus e transpose e, and this can also be understood as TSS is equal to ESS plus RSS. Now, relationship can be derived over here, which is called as coefficient of multiple correlation, also denoted as R square. So R square क्या होता है आपका ESS upon TSS. Now this ratio should convey you what exactly this R square talks about. So R square tells us the proportion of variation in Y values explained by the data that I have collected on X. You must understand ESS is composed of all the terms of X transpose X, that is the data matrix that you have. So R square क्या बताता है कि आपने जो sample regression line fit किया है for the population regression line, how fit is the line to the actual data, right? So R square can be understood as the proportion of variation in Y, right? That's why ratio is TSS. So proportion of variation in y explained by the regression. So this is also called as sum of squares due to regression. So proportion of variation in y explained by the data matrix is nothing but your R square, and this R square is also called as coefficient of multiple correlation. Right? We'll talk about R square a bit more, but let us first talk about equations in deviation form, and then we talk about R square and adjusted R square. So please remember this point, how R square, what R square measures. So R square measures the proportion of variation in Y explained by the data matrix or the regression that we have run. Okay. So next thing that we discuss is that is called as equation in deviation form. Whatever we have written can also be written as deviation form. So equation in deviation form कुछ नहीं है, एक alternative way है to approach the same question, or like it just taking the raw values of y and x and converting that raw values into its deviation form. So deviation form क्या होगा? Raw values of y और x को लिया मैं और सबका mean निकाला और हर एक raw values of y and x को उसके mean से मैंने subtract कर दिया. So those will be the observations in deviation form. So how do we write the sample regression line in deviation form? That's what we discuss next. Okay. So as we have already denoted that an individual observation I can be written as yi as beta naught, or let's write as b1 plus b2 x2I plus b3 x3I so on bk xki plus ei, right? एक ith observation can be written as, so if it is first observation, all the subscript will take a value of 1. If it is 100th observation, all the subscript that is indicated by I will take the value of 100. So any ith observation in the whole sample, regression line can be written as beta b1 is for your intercept term, and then rest all are the sample coefficients for the population parameters. If we take average across both the sides of expression, it can be written as y bar, beta 1 तो same ही रहेगा, so b1 plus b2 x2 bar plus b3 x3 bar so on till bk xk bar, और e bar तो 0 है तो वो तो ऐसे ही रह जाएगा 0 term. So let me call it as equation number 2 and this as equation number 1. Now what we do is we subtract equation 2 from equation 1. So subtracting equation 2 from equation 1 will get yi minus y bar. b1 minus b1 will be 0. And now I have b2 x2I minus x2 bar. Similarly, I'll have b3 x3I minus x3 bar so on till bk xki minus xk bar plus ei, because ei minus 0 will be ei itself. So ये क्या है मेरा, हर एक individual raw observations on x2 x3 से लेके xk, they all are subtracted from their respective means. So in statistical notation we write deviation values in the small letters. So we write it as small yi can be written as b2 x2I small x2I plus b3 x3I so on bk xki plus ei. An important point to note over here is that the coefficients do not change, they remain the same in both the form of equations, right? In equations in deviation form you do not have any intercept term, but intercept term can definitely be obtained through equation 2, where you write b1 as y bar minus all these terms, and all these small letter terms, they should tell you that they all are observations expressed in deviation form. तो इसका इंट्यूटिव मीनिंग क्या है कि अगर आपने डेटा कलेक्शन किया है, सारे रॉ ऑब्जर्वेशन को आपने कन्वर्ट कर दिया डेविएशन ऑब्जर्वेशंस में, and then you are trying to run the sample regression line for the population regression function that you have assumed to exist. So an equation in deviation form is written in this form. You must remember that the coefficient remains same, they remain same in both the form of equations. Equation in deviation form does not contain any constant term. ठीक है? Okay. Now how do I write this equation in deviation form for the entire values of or entire observations of x and y? That's what we'll understand next. So in order to express an entire vector of observations into deviation form, we use a concept or we use a matrix which is called as transformation matrix. Now what is transformation matrix? Let me write it first and then we explain it to you. So transformation matrix is defined as where I is a column vector consisting of n ones. Now what does it exactly mean? So this A is called as transformation matrix. IN is your n-dimensional identity matrix. I am sure you are aware of what is called as identity matrix. where all the elements on the principal diagonal contains 1 and all the elements on the off diagonal are 0. So this is an identity matrix consisting of n number of observations. This is I, where I is a column vector consisting of n number of 1, right? And I is multiplied by its transpose. ठीक है? So एक column vector है और I transpose एक row vector है. So इसका dimension है n by 1, इसका dimension है 1 by n. तो इसका जो product का dimension होगा वो n by n होगा. That's why it is divided by n. And this is identity matrix of n times, n times n dimension. That's why the matrix or subtraction is conformable over here. Now this matrix is called as transformation matrix because what it does is, this matrix, when it gets pre-multiplied by a vector of observations, it transforms that vector of observations into deviation form. Right? I repeat, this matrix, when it gets pre-multiplied by a vector of observations, it transforms the vector of observations to its deviation form. चलेगा ये बात? That's why it is called as transformation matrix. So let me write it here. This matrix, it has got two properties. First of all, it is a square matrix. You must understand that's why it is a symmetric matrix as well. And it is also idempotent matrix. Symmetric matrix क्या हुआ? Across the elements on principal diagonal, both the side of off diagonal elements, they are similar or they are same. Or idempotent matrix क्या हुआ? If you multiply matrix by its own terms, matrix value remains same. That is A times A, that is A square will remain A. If you again multiply this A square by A, and again it will remain A. So no matter how much you multiply that matrix by itself, the values does not change. That is matrix remains same. So this transformation matrix is a square matrix, and this square matrix is a symmetric matrix as well, and it is also an idempotent matrix. Why it is called a transformation matrix? Because it transforms, when it gets pre-multiplied by a vector of observations, it transforms that vector of observations into deviation form. ठीक है? ये बात याद रखिएगा. Okay. So what I mean over here, let me express it by taking one simple example. So let me say that I have taken two number of observations on y. So let me write as y as y1 and y2. I have only taken two number of observations, right? So अगर मुझे इसको deviation form में express करना है, तो जो मेरा small letter y है वो कुछ ऐसे होना चाहिए, y1 minus y bar, y2 minus y bar, right? ये बात clear है? Okay. Let us see how do we express it using transformation matrix. So क्या है transformation matrix को मैं इसे pre-multiply करूँगा. ये है column vector consisting of two number of observations. So I have here identity matrix consisting of two number of ones on the principal diagonal, and here I have a column vector consisting of two number of 1. So let me define I as 1 1. तो I transpose क्या हो जाएगा? 1 and 1. So I times I transpose will be 1 1 1 1. चलेगा? n की जगह यहाँ पे क्या होगा? 2, because I have two number of elements, so 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 times I transpose is this term. Here I have identity matrix, so my identity matrix will be 1 0 0 1. Right? So now let us see this term. So 1 0 0 1 minus of 1 by 2 1 1 1 1 multiplied by y1 y2. अब देखिए पहले इस प्रोडक्ट को कैसे बिहेव करता है. So this product will become y1 plus y2 divided by 2. That is nothing but y bar. y1 plus y2 divided by 2. That is again nothing but y bar. So I have the product of these two elements comes as y bar and y bar. ठीक है? And this will also get multiplied here because this is multiplied by whole. So y1 times 1 plus y2 times 0, first element will be y1. y2 times 0, sorry, y2 times 1 plus y1 times 0, second element will be y2. So here I have y1 y2 and here I have y bar y bar. तो ये क्या टर्म बन गया आपका y1 माइनस y बार y2 माइनस y बार। और ये कैसे बना? व्हाट आई डिड इज आई प्री मल्टीप्लाइड दिस ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन मैट्रिक्स by a column vector consisting of two number of observations on y. तो इसी तरह you can imagine a column vector consisting of n number of observations, and if you pre-multiply that column vector with this transformation matrix, it will transform all such row observations into its deviation form. ठीक है? Okay. Let us go ahead now. So you must understand, if I pre-multiply the transformation matrix with the vector of residuals का मीन वैल्यू क्या है? 0. सो जो वेक्टर ऑफ रेसिडुअल को मैं ट्रांसफॉर्म करूं डेविएशन फॉर्म में, वो स्टिल अपने फॉर्म में रहेगा. सो AE times E will be equal to E. And similarly, if I pre-multiply the column of vector consisting of n such ones by the transformation matrix, this will become 0, because each term will be now 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1 से लेके 1 minus 1. So A times E will be E and A times I will be 0. ये दो रिजल्ट याद रखिएगा. Okay, so let us now write the sample regression line as y as xb plus e. ठीक है? अब मैं क्या करता हूँ, डेटा मैट्रिक्स को मैं पार्टीशन कर देता हूँ दो यूनिक ऑब्जर्वेशंस में. सो मैं क्या करता हूँ, आई पार्टीशन द डेटा मैट्रिक्स by taking the column consisting of one on one side and all the values of observations on the explanative variables in the other matrix. See, ठीक है? So let me write it as y can be written as I x2. ठीक है? Where I is a column vector consisting of 1. तो हमने डेटा मैट्रिक्स का जो पहला कॉलम होता है, जो सिर्फ 1 होता है उसमें, उसको हमने अलग करके लिख लिया है. So this x2 will be now, it will still have n number of observations, but it will have columns as k minus 1. So x2 का डायमेंशन क्या होगा, जो आपका रिमेनिंग वैल्यूज ऑन द डेटा मैट्रिक्स है, it will have n by k minus 1. इसका डायमेंशन क्या है? n into 1. ठीक है? So हमने इसको कॉलम वाइज इसको हमने पार्टीशन किया है. The only thing that you have to remember is the matrix partition can be done as long as when you sum the two, sum the component of the partition matrices, the number of columns or the number of rows through which you have divided the matrix must be equal to the actual data matrix that we have. So I write this like this, but you remember that this is a matrix of dimension n times k minus 1, and this is a column vector consisting of n number of 1. Similarly, मैं b को भी divide कर सकता हूँ. So let me write it as b1 for the intercept term and b2 again a vector for all such k minus 1 explanatory variables coefficients. So b2 is a vector consisting of k minus 1 number of elements, and b1 is for this term, right? And e to simply I can write it as vector e. चलेगा? Now what I do, I pre-multiply both the sides of expression by a. So a times y. Now a times I x2 b1 b2 plus a times e. तो अभी हमने एक रिजल्ट क्या देखा था, that a times e तो e ही रह जाएगा. So let me write it here as e. Now a times I will be 0 and a times x2 means what? I am taking the data matrix consisting of number of observations on all the k minus 1 explanative variables, and I am transforming all such variables into its deviation form. So it will be now a times x2, right? b1 0 से मल्टीप्लाई हो जाएगा, सिंपली यहाँ पे मेरा बचेगा b2. So a times x2 times b2 plus e must be equal to a times y. In statistical notation, how do we write deviation form? So I write it as y, small letter y star. Let me write it as small x2 star b2 plus e. So this is nothing but your equation in deviation form. ठीक है, in matrix notation, where you have to understand that this x2 star is still your data matrix, however it does not contain the constant term. This b2 is still the column vector consisting of all such k minus 1 parameters, estimators, plus this residual term. चलेगा? Okay. So let me write it. So y star can be written as x2 star b2 plus e. Now, in order to obtain the sum of squares, I simply have to multiply by its transpose. So I can simply write it as y star transpose y star. ये क्या बन जाएगा आपका? बीटा टू ट्रांसपोज x2 स्टार ट्रांसपोज x2 स्टार बीटा 2 plus e transpose e. Right? So this term is your TSS, this term is your ESS, and this term is your RSS. So again your TSS is equal to ESS plus RSS. Chalega? Okay, now one very important point over here. So ideally R square क्या बताता है हमें? R square बताता है कि proportion of variation in y values explained by the regression. But there is one problem with R square. Since R square depends on this ESS, as long as you keep on increasing the number of explanatory variables in the model, your R square, if it does not increase, but it will never decrease. So in mathematical terms, I'll say that R square is a non-decreasing function in x. मतलब क्या है इसका? कि आप जितना नंबर ऑफ एक्सप्लेनेटरी वेरिएबल्स आप यू कैन कीप ऑन एडिंग इन योर मॉडल, even if that explanatory variable does not have any partial correlation coefficient with y, then your explained sum of squares will not increase. So your R square remains constant. But what happens is, the degree of freedom gets affected because आपके पास जितना number of explanatory variables होगा उतना ही number of population parameters को आपको estimate करना होगा. जितने number of population parameters को आपको estimate करना होगा उतने number of आपको estimators निकालने होंगे, और जितना नंबर आपका estimators बढ़ते जाएगा उतना आपके पास कम observation होगा for the prediction or forecasting purposes. This is what degrees of freedom mean. So R square is a non-decreasing function in x, meaning which even if you keep on including irrelevant variables in the model, your R square does not increase, but it does not decrease at all. So अगर थोड़ा सा भी partial correlation effect है on y पे तो आपका R square बढ़ते जाएगा. So in order to counter this effect, we use another function which is called as adjusted R square. Now let us understand what is adjusted R square. So ये बात याद रखिए कि अगर आपको दो मॉडल को कंपेयर करना है, where one model differs from another model in terms of number of explanatory variables or functional form of the regression, such models cannot be compared by looking at the values of R square. तो ये हमेशा एक फैलेसी है कि सिंपली आपने R square देखा मॉडल का और आपने बोल दिया ये बेस्ट मॉडल है. Don't rush into the conclusion because R square depends on the values of of ESS. Depending on the variables taken in the model, your R square can differ. So even if a low R square of a model is justified sometimes if the theory specifically determines all those variables that you have taken in the model. So don't compare two models which differ in the number of explanatory variables, which differ in their functional forms of values on the basis of R square. There are multiple criteria like AIC, SIC, and also adjusted R square which can be used to compare the two models. We'll discuss about the other two criteria, but for now let us discuss what is adjusted R square. So adjusted R square takes care of degrees of freedom. So it is defined as R bar square 1 minus RSS डिवाइडेड बाय इसका डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम क्या होगा n माइनस के, जितना नंबर ऑफ आपको एस्टिमेटर्स को एस्टिमेट करना उतना आप लूज कर जाओगे, डिवाइडेड बाय TSS, इसका डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम क्या होगा n माइनस 1, बिकॉज सो टोटल सम ऑफ स्क्वायर्स को डिराइव करने के लिए यू जस्ट नीड वन एस्टिमेटर, दैट इज मीन ऑफ y, so you lose 1 degree of freedom. So adjusted R square is 1 minus RSS, that is residual sum of square divided by its degree of freedom. Why degree of freedom is n minus k over here is you can only estimate R square. RSS is what? E transpose E, और E आप कैसे निकालते हो? Y minus beta 1 minus beta 2 x2 and so on and so forth. So in order to calculate this RSS, you first need to calculate the k number of estimators. So if you have n number of total observations, you use k number of such observations to estimate those estimators. So you are only left with n minus k degree of freedom. In order to calculate total sum of squares, I only need one estimator, that is your mean of y. That's why I use only 1 degree of freedom, right? So adjusted R square is this term. इसको थोड़ा और मैं मैथमेटिकली सिंप्लीफाई करूं तो this can be written as 1 minus तो ये आपका रिलेशन है between adjusted R square and unadjusted R square. So in this case, this R square is also called as unadjusted R square, right? And this is your adjusted R square. अब देखिए यहाँ पे ये degree of freedom को अकाउंट में लेता है. So what happens in adjusted R square is if you keep on including some irrelevant variables in the model, your adjusted R square can even turn negative. Solve this mathematical expression, you'll find the condition when your adjusted R square can turn negative. But what we had learned in our previous, just a few minutes ago, that R square is a non-decreasing function of x. So even if you keep on including irrelevant variables, your R square, even if it does not increase, but it does not decrease as well. But adjusted R square might fall if you keep on including irrelevant variables, because there can be a situation where your number of observations is less than your number of explanatory variables that you have to estimate. So adjusted R square can also take a negative value depending on how many number of irrelevant variables you have kept on increasing in the model. So this is the relation between adjusted R square and unadjusted R square. So again I wind up my lecture over here, but 2 points to be noted over here, that the total y can be decomposed into the regression values and the residual values only on the condition that there is a 90-degree angle between the fitted values of y and the residual term. First thing. Second thing is R square is a non-decreasing function of x, meaning which if you keep on including the number of explanatory variables, your R square might not increase, but R square will never decrease. So R square should not be a criteria to judge between two models which model is a better fit. So in order to compare the two models which differ on the lines of explanatory variables, मान लो किसी मॉडल में हमने 3 explanatory variable यूज किया है, किसी मॉडल में हमने 4 explanatory variable यूज किया है, तो such models को compare करने के लिए R square should not be used. Adjusted R square should be used. Again, if the model differs in their functional form, if let's say y in some model is in y form but in another model it is in log y form, x's का functional form differ करता है, so in that case as well R square should not be a criteria to compare the two models. Instead adjusted R square should be used. So I wind up my lecture here. In the next class we discuss from this point on.